You look gorgeous as always, and you got the redhead look going a little bit here. Yeah.
Redhead.
Yeah. It's terrible. I've never tried that for real on a woman. What's it like? Is any difference? Do you like being a redhead? Because normally you're blonde.
I'm a natural blonde, but blondes don't get treated very well in our society. So I enjoy being a redhead much more.
You're having a better experience with it than I've had. I mean, I get punched in the head a lot. But do you like it? Do you notice a difference? I mean, you know, some people think that redheads are, you know, we're fiery, and do you get people?
Well, aren't we?
No, I am not a fiery redhead.
Yeah, well, it used to be. You know, as a blonde, if I had something I wanted to say, people are like, oh, she's high maintenance, kind of a, you know. But as a redhead, you get it. She's a firecracker. She's, you know, she's feisty.
So you blondes, people, maybe it's easier for them to dismiss a blonde.
I think so.
But if you're a redhead, they think, you got spunk.
You got spunk, baby, yeah.
Yeah. I don't get that either. We do have in common, I have very, very pale skin, and you seem to have yours it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, but almost translucent.
Well, my...
Yeah. I can see your skeleton. No.
My sister calls it fish belly blue, which is...
That's not nice.
No, but it's true.
But fish belly blue goes well with the red, let me tell you.
It does, much better than with the blonde.
So did you not like your... growing up, because I always find when I was a kid, I don't know how you... I mean, I was a redhead and very pale, and I hated the way I looked. Did you, growing up with the pale skin, was that fun for you, or?
I mean, I didn't want to be pale. I've accepted it. I didn't do very well.
You learned slowly to accept it.
I had no choice. I mean, my skin repels the sun. I tried to lay out once in Italy without sunscreen for like 20 minutes at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got sun poisoning. I woke up with a rash all over, so.
Yes. Yeah. This is turning me on. This was my whole experience growing up, was sun for 5 minutes. You know, my mom made me wear like an old lady's big hat.
Exactly. And forget going to the beach in bikinis, like.
I could never wear a bikini, no.
Exactly. I got yelled at a water park in Georgia. Somebody yelled at me to get a tan. And I don't know if you've been to water parks in Georgia, but this man was not much to look at in a swimsuit.
And someone yelled at you, hey, get a tan?
Yes, sir.
That's terrible.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
But
what did you do? Did you say something really cool back to him?
No, I didn't actually. I think I was upset.
Quietly upset.
I wanted to, like, you know, something. Hey, well, I'm gonna look really good someday, and you'll still be fat, you know.
That's good. You should have said that.
I think I said that to my sister under, you know, the tears.
You wrote it later on.
Yeah, in my memoir.
That's what I would do. I would go later and write that in my room. Oh, that's what I will say next time.
Exactly.
To those cruel bullies.
Exactly.
I have to talk about something, again, that affects my life. I have a daughter who saw Enchanted when she was, I want to say, 3. She saw it when she was 3 years old, and absolutely she just couldn't believe. She just loved the movie, and she loved you in the movie, and of course believed it all. And because so much of it happens in Central Park, and we live near Central Park, she then would say to me, take me to Central Park. I want to go find the princess from Enchanted. So she's always looking for you in Central Park.
We should plan that someday.
Yeah.
You know?
You should charge people like $50,000. What's it worth? Yeah.
I would only charge you that much.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. You're so nice.
You're welcome.
I do it for free, but for you, $50,000.
Exactly.
Let's have it.
But yeah, no, it's been interesting because kids sometimes recognize me. Their parents really do, and I'm always like, oh no, I'm in sweats. You're going to ruin her whole idea of princesses. And I met these kids at an airport, and I had that experience. I think she must have been 3, and they said, do you know who this is? It's Giselle, and she. Well, that's not Giselle. She was sort of...
Oh, really? She got upset?
She did. I was horrified. I had to I bent down to her level, and I had to be like, you know, I'm in disguise.
That's so nice of you, though. That's really great. She must have loved that.
Her eyes, she sort of understood.
Right.
Once I was like, you know how I made this out of, I made this out of my sofa, these sweats. They're made out of my,
That's so great.
Yeah, it was good.
But an airport's not a good place. It's just, why are they making Giselle take off her belt at security?
Exactly.
Why are they running a metal detector around her?
And now they let paparazzi, and they can take pictures of you sort of like with your striped socks under your jeans. It's very... Undignified.
Yeah, that's especially
walking barefoot.
Yes,
Nobody will
yes.
beat me anyway.
They take shots of anything out there, but
They
that's so
do.
nice that you do that.
Well, I love that. I love the little girl who liked this movie, and you know.
But you know what's so funny? What I'll sometimes when I'm walking around, people will sometimes, the adult will recognize me, and then they'll get their 4-year-old and go, "Do you know who this is? This is Conan O'Brien."
Yes.
Like I'm on at 12:35 at night. We get a V for violence,
I know.
The kids always, I don't care on such a profound level. It's terrible.
Yeah. But it's been fun to
yeah.
do a film that affects kids in a positive way.
I want to ask you something. You used to work at The Gap, and I want
did.
to ask you about that because I'm personally fascinated by people that are so talented, they've become such big stars, but just a few years ago, like a lot of people were working a job 9 to 5. How did you like working at The Gap?
I liked it all right. I have to say at the time, I'm one of those personalities, I'll try to make the best of whatever situation. So I was the greeter, and so I was always like, hey, check out our t-shirts. Hey, we carry men's underwear now, I would think of anything. Like anything I could think to say, I would say.
So your job was to just start a conversation. Is that the job of the greeter?
Yes, there is, I haven't been there for a while. I don't know if any of you guys have worked at The Gap, but there's the Gap Act, which is greet, approach, product information, add-on, which is that thing, when you're in the dressing room, they're like, hey, it would look great with those jeans, is this sweater.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I always think the girl just thought of that. They're always getting me to buy like a poncho to go with the socks.
I know. I'm sure like the Gap people will be outside to whisk me away as I walk out of your show. I've revealed
We
the
must
secret.
remove the chip from her brain. She's proved troublesome.
Yeah. So be nice to them when that's their job. Their managers are making them add the belt, because add on. And then
Right.
it's close, and then, I don't know what T
Close
was.
means make sure you get the sale.
Yes, sir.
That's why they grab onto your ankles when you try and leave the store. They're hitting you.
Exactly. And
all
I
right.
forget what the T is.
There's a T in there too?
Well, ACTA, yeah.
Oh.
Gap
For me,
Act.
yeah. I should learn to read and to spell. I want to talk about doubt.
Yeah.
You're in this movie with Meryl Streep.
Yes.
It's got to be a dream come true. And I know you're also working with her in another movie as well that
Yes.
hasn't come out yet.
Julie and Julia. It comes out in August, but I shot it directly after Doubt. And that was fun. It involves, we cook a lot, and
It's about cooking, yeah.
Yeah, I cook my way through the Julia Child cookbook.
Cool.
Yeah,
Did you learn to cook anything? Like, what do you learn amazing skills?
I did. I learned how to poach an egg and to make omelets without a spatula, and I learned how to bone a duck.
Okay. Let's talk about doubt.
I play a nun.
Yeah, you play a nun in Doubt, and you really wanted this part. Please, settle down. You people sicken me.
Maybe I should not tell them about my duck boning prowess.
No. That doesn't go with the nun.